Porter is a progressive. I would put her in the sort of the progressive as a Ayanna Presley. Like people don't really view her as progressive, but she kind of just hangs out with progressives. Katie Porter, who is a progressive out of California, believe it or not, she recently decided to run for Senate in California to fill the Dianne Feinstein seat. She ran, I think Karen Bass. Is it Karen Bass? I can't remember which Black progressive ran. And Adam Schiff ran, and a Republican. I'm going to get his name in a second. A Republican ran. So being part of the Democratic Party, Katie Porter has to know what the Democratic Party does. She has to know what the Democratic Party did to Bernie Sanders twice. She has to know that. She has to know that the DNC decided not to hold primaries this election cycle, which is rigging the election. She has to know that the DNC pushed up South Carolina to the forefront of the beginning of the primary season in order to rig the election. So she hasn't heard of any of this. Progressives, as long as it's not happening to them, they have no critique of that. But when they lay it on you, Katie Porter, now you have a lot to say. Here's the headline from The Hill. Rep. Katie Porter doubles down on claim that the California Senate race was rigged by billionaires after she lost the chance to advance to the general election. Porter doubles down on claim California Senate race was rigged by billionaires after loss. She actually tweeted out something along these lines too, and the Democratic in the cowbell left Democrats, like the people who support the Democrats, they're all throughout there saying, I can't believe you doing this. What are you doing? You must be a Trump supporter. Yeah, that's Katie Porter. Let's read a little bit of this article. All right, so here we go. Katie Porter is doubling down on her claim that California's Senate race was rigged by billionaires after she lost the chance to advance to the general election. Here's the quote. Thank you to everyone who supported our campaign and voted to shake up the status quo in Washington. Because of you, we had the establishment running scared, withstanding 3-1 in TV spending and an onslaught of billionaires spending millions to rig this election. Thank you to everyone who supported our campaign and voted to shake up the status quo in Washington. Because of you, we had the establishment running scared, withstanding 3-1 in TV spending and an onslaught of billionaires spending millions to rig this election. Porter said in a post on X, formerly Twitter, after the race was called. And she went on to say, rigged means manipulated by dishonest means. Porter said in a separate Thursday statement after facing online blowback for her choice of words, arguing a few billionaires spent millions on attack ads against her in the race. Quote, that is dishonest means to manipulate the outcome. I said rigged by billionaires, and our politics are in fact manipulated by big dark money. Now listen to how she when the blowback came, she went back to her establishment position. Hold on, guys. I don't mean the Democratic Party is rigging the elections. Random billionaires are doing it. The spinelessness and the lack of fight in progressives is just disgusting to me. Let's go to the next thing here. I don't need to read any more of that because in the where is it? Katie Porter right here. In the rest of my presentation, there's going to be a lot of what's covered in the article covered here. So let's go to those tweets that they're talking about in the article that you saw. Let's go to the tweets. Here's one that Jank, what is it called? Quote tweets. Let's read. Jank says, actually, let's read this the original tweet first. So Katie Porter tweeted this, and I read it in the article. But she says, "Thank you to everyone who supported our campaign and voted to shake up the status quo in Washington D.C. Because of you, we had the establishment running scared, withstanding 3-1 and the TV ads." Right? She says that this guy Andy K, I don't know how to say his last name. Kaczynski, maybe that's how you say it. She lost by 20 points, but is saying the election is rigged because she was outspent. Jank comes to the rescue and says, "Yes, brother, that's how every election is rigged. And none of you on CNN noticed 95% of elections are decided by who has more money." In more legalized, i.e. more legalized bribes from corporate donors, yet you guys never report on who is bribing our politicians and how corrupt the entire system is. And Jank, just like you, Andy is part of the establishment. And if he goes too far, just like you know, because you do the same thing, the establishment will completely destroy you. Now, let's go here. Fox News talks about this from Katie Porter. Of course, they're always talking about, they're wanting to exaggerate or exacerbate is a better word, any type of discourse or any type of disagreement in the Democratic Party on the left. They want to bring on those people to exacerbate that. So let's listen. I'm basically saying they're not covering it from a news point of view. They're covering it from they want to exacerbate the situation.
While Adam Schiff spent $10 million essentially elevating Steve Garvey to put it, because in California they got the top 2 tier.
So Adam Schiff spends $10 million to elevate Steve Garvey, a Republican, because how it works in California, regardless of party, the 2 top people who get votes move on to a runoff or to, the actual election. So you could actually have 2 Democrats in November running against each other. Like it could have been Katie Porter and Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff didn't want that. He didn't want Gaza looming and then Katie Porter, the person who virtue signals about Israel, running against him, or even the other black progressive that's in the race with him. I forget her name. What's her name? But anyway, let's listen. I'm going to rewind it. Let's listen to what they say on Fox News.
While Adam Schiff spent $10 million essentially elevating Steve Garvey to put it, because in California they got the top 2 tier primary system. So because he didn't want to run against Katie Porter, very popular with progressives in California. So Katie Porter realized, wait a minute, Porter that is to say, she realized, hey, Adam Schiff is making a lot of hay there. So they started supporting another Republican by the name of Eric Early, thinking we can do the same thing for Eric Early.
But it was too late.
They're doing. It just kind of sputtered.
But Eric Early was not a famous MLB star for these 2 teams that are in the area.
If he ran against Ron Say at third base, that might have been something. But that is not happening.
While
let me start that video. So
spent $10 million essentially elevating Steve.
Thank you. A couple of people in the chat gave me the name. I kept saying Karen Bass. I was thinking Karen Bass, but it's Barbara Lee is the one that's still in D.C. Karen Bass is the one that was in D.C., but now she's the LA mayor. Okay, now I got it straight. Now I got it straight. But now take what you heard in this segment on Fox News and also think back to what Katie Porter was saying. Billionaire spent. You're talking about how Adam Schiff got some billions spent to elevate Steve Garvey? But then when you're called out on it, you want to, no, billionaires. Sorry, guys, billionaires. When she got blowback, and I think I might have time to show you that. She got a lot of blowback in said tweet. Let me see if I have it here. I don't think I do. Here's Nick showing her statement on it. This is this. Oh, actually, this is it. Okay, here's the backlash. I hate this new Twitter. When you click on it, it puts the thing to the side. But anyway, Please find my statement here. This is the statement that she got the backlash. No, this is the cleanup. I'm sorry. This is the cleanup. And she still got black backlash here. But and I think I've read this. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'll read it again because I didn't read all of it. So I'll read the entire statement. Rigged means manipulated by dishonest means. A few billionaires spent 10 million on attack ads against me, including an ad rated false by an independent fact checker. Now, that $10 million that she's talking about here and the $10 million that they talked about in the Fox News segment where they said Adam Schiff, you see the connection that she doesn't want to name Adam Schiff as a person. She want to name the people who's giving the money on Adam Schiff's behalf. Goes back, progressive, the most dangerous thing in the Western Hemisphere. That is dishonest means to manipulate an outcome. I said rigged by billionaires because she's want to make sure rigged by billionaires. Make sure you understand. I'm not saying rigged by Democrats, even though it's the same thing. And our politics are in fact manipulated by dark money, something that progressives love to lean on. Defending democracy means calling that out. At no time have I ever undermined the vote count and election process in California, which are beyond reproach. So she wants to make it a point to say, I'm not saying rigged in the sense of MAGA rigged, like Donald Trump is saying rigged. But anyway, that doesn't help. She gets the same backlash in this sort of cleanup part of things. Where did my thing go? And Nick, I'll read what he says. Katie Porter calls out Democrats for rigging the California Senate election. Liberals proceed to have a meltdown in her comments. And that's what he's talking about. And I like this comment here. Note, Katie Porter and Dean Phillips were complicit with the rigging election to candidates like HRC in War Room, rigging elections to candidates like HRC and Biden against the more progressive Bernie. Wasn't until the dog turned and bit them that they speak out. Same thing I said earlier. Lesson, injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. You should speak out regardless if it's you, Katie Porter. And maybe it would not have came and smacked you dab in the face. The RBN main account goes on to say this. Katie Porter complaining about rigged elections is like the getaway driver of a bank robbery complaining about the bank robbery. Katie is part of the team that rigs elections. Like this one too. Quote, Katie Porter met with AIPAC to prepare for a recent junket to Israel and came away from the trip extremely impressed by Benjamin Netanyahu. Will you stop calling her progressive now? Disgusting. I don't think I need to read this article, but Katie Halper also chimed in. Katie Porter is extremely impressed by Netanyahu. I don't know what to say about this except it's an unforced error. And Katie Porter is totally out of step with progressive members of Congress. Embarrassing, really. Now, I think Katie Halper is being a little bit easier on her because largely the people who are progressive, and I think Katie Halper is a progressive, or she would call herself a progressive, but people who are progressive generally like Katie Porter. So I would think Katie Halper has an affection for Katie Porter, but disagrees with her on this. That is the last of the Katie Porter sucks receipts. And I'll leave you with this about Katie Porter, really Jan Perlman too. And that is they both fall in the category of progressives, aka progressives are the most dangerous thing in the Western Hemisphere, and I would put Jan Perlman and Katie Porter in that category.